How's it going, lads? Fancy watching a bit of Dawn of War 2? Of course you do. So we've got a game here. It's a Dawn of War 2 game. It's a 1v1, and it's on Greentooth Gorge. Not getting very many innovative matches here. Come on guys, get out there. Download the ESL Reporter. Play some 1v1s. Get some games out there. But don't play goddamn Space Marines, because I'm sick of watching them. And play in a map that isn't Calderis Refinery or Greentooth Gorge. Thank you very much. Okay, onto the game. The Black Cardinal. I imagine a lot of you aren't going to be highly familiar with this player. I'm not highly familiar with this player, but I do know that he participated in the 3v3 tournament that was hosted by some Russian dude, and the prize was $2,000. Black Cardinal was one of the 3 players in the Korean team that ended up winning that tournament and disgraced all of Elite Mod's best players because a bunch of Korean randoms came over from retail and smashed their clearly far too egotistical and loud-mouthed elite bodies into the ground. Interesting, eh? Maybe we'll have that again, because this is piano, not think less of me. Maybe that's a bit of foreshadowing, I'm not sure. Or maybe he lost the game prior to this? Can't remember. Anyway, what's going on? So we see no... Ah, whoa, okay. We see double tax from the Black Cardinal. 3v3 player, eat your heart out. That's why we only see the node going up now, because obviously he's trying to rush that second tack, which costs a hell of a lot of requisition. Normally you wouldn't go double tax. Normally you would not go double tax in a 1v1. Because they just delay you so long. Look how long it's took for him to get that node up. And he's just not really got any units around for map presence. So he's losing all of the map. Granted, he's going to be fairly competent in the fights with the double tax when they blob up with the Force Commander, but the Orc can just rat around them. Constantly gem bash. Don't take army versus army fights, and get to tier 2 quick and get your Death Dread out. It's basically a guaranteed bash. Ooh, I'm gonna see a grenade. Perfect grenade. Big yikes for Piano. Oh my goodness. That was a little bit sloppy, if I'm honest with you. I don't know why he either didn't instantly retreat. I mean, by the time he retreated, he'd already lost 3 models. What's that all about? Come on, Piano, sort yourself out. You're making us think less of you. Or just backed off this way, because it was kind of obvious there was nothing in this area with the 3 points, because, you know, he only went for 1 tactical marine early on and 1 scout, and they weren't in this area. So it was obvious an army push was coming this way. Oh well. He does still have the better end of the map control, and that's only reduced his upkeep. Goes for a cheeky snipe on the Force Commander there, doesn't really work out though. Cardinal is privy to it, and it ends up actually costing him an extra Slugger Boy. Okay, we do see 1 model lost so far from the Space Marines. Lost a scout. Actually going for fully upgraded scouts. What the hell is this play? No tier 1.5 for the Space Marines. Fully upgraded scouts, and I mean fully. Sergeant shotguns and elite training. And then gets up his final 2 gens so that he now has a full farm. The loss of the shooter is really setting Piano back here. Just imagine if he had an extra squad out right now, he'd be in such a great position. Look at the income from having all that map control and only having 3 squads, which means very, very little upkeep for him to be paying compared to Cardinal. Now Cardinal, to be fair, only has the single wreck point, which isn't even fully matured yet, but you can see that, yeah, he's got more pop. He's got more pop. To be honest, I kind of thought the difference was going to be a bit more significant than that, given that they've got 3 squads each, but he's got 2 attacks. But yeah, I'm not sure. Weird. I guess scouts are pretty good, man. Don't cost a lot of pop. Wait, is he intentionally keeping them at 3 models? That's not happening, right? Is it? Or is it? No, it's not. Okay. You never know with these Koreans. They have some wild strategies at times that the rest of us simply cannot comprehend with our inferior intellects. So, Piano is going for the DD rush. Obviously, Cardinal is not going to be going for any sort of tier 1.5 unit at this point. But the power of the blobbed up TAC Marines with the Battlecry buffs constantly giving them more damage, pretty strong. So that was a failed engagement from Piano's end, and no tactical Marine models were lost. And not only that, but he didn't have to retreat anything, did Cardinal. So he's in a really good position now because he can start taking back the rest of the map. I should say, the Commander Knob is probably the worst. I mean, he is the worst hero that the Orcs have against Space Marines. Having the Warboss in that fight would have been really nice. Not only because his presence in melee would be really good, but also he has the really good global buffs for your Storm Boys. Putting hard boys on them would have been really nice. Make them a bit more survivable. Good awareness there by Piano not to lose the Commander Knob to the Shotgun Scouts. I was going to say, might lose it to the Tax as well, but looks like they've missed a few too many bolter shots there. So the Commander Knob does survive, which I'm happy to see because he did dodge it well. A lot of players would have lost them there to the Scouts. Cardinal knew exactly what he was doing, moving as close as possible to the hero before he threw the grenade, so the reaction time was as little. I'm just not going to finish that sentence because it was a fuck up. Death Dread's out, okay. That's come out quite quick, hasn't it? So now we get into this problem with the SM where they have to invest so much resources into AV that's mediocre. So then they struggle to deal with the Death Dread. So what happens is, the Death Dread comes along, burns down the gen farm, you have to spend all of your AV, all of your power into AV as the Space Marine, and then you have all this AV, which is not very useful against the enemy infantry, and you've also lost your power farm, so you can't get a vehicle yourself, and then you just stuck and you lose to the tier 2 elite infantry of the enemy. Now, so far Black Cardinal has managed to prevent the power bash using only 1 missile launcher, which is strange. 1 missile launcher doesn't counter a Death Dread. I'm not sure why he didn't engage. Perhaps Piano thought maybe there were double missile launchers coming out, in which case that would effectively counter the Death Dread, but he probably should have engaged anyway there, to be honest with you. So Thunderhammer is doing Thunderhammer things, counters these Storm Boys really effectively. The other thing is it's giving all these damage buffs. So that missile is going to be doing a lot more damage, not just 130, it's doing... Yeah, well, that wasn't that much more. That wasn't that much more. That was, what, about 140, 145? But the thing is, the Space Marines aren't bleeding too many models. Oh my god, they get the actual kill on the Slugger Boys. That's kind of huge. And there's a bit of a pathing fuck up there, so he doesn't get the kill on the Force Commander. This puts Piano in a tricky spot. He really needs to get the Gem Bash off, to be honest with you. That's what he needs right now, but he hasn't. Even though the missile attacks have actually retreated, he hasn't got the Gem Bash off. That's really bad. He needed that Gem Bash there. That was obviously a mistake. There's nothing to kill the Death Dread. The Tactical Marines with the missile launcher were super low on HP. So I don't really know why he backed off the Death Dread there. That's really overly cautious play. But at the end of the day, the VPs are equal. Piano does have superior map control. And we all know that just like the Space Marine tier 3, the Orc tier 3 is really good. So both players might be thinking about just skipping tier 2 really, not getting any huge investment in it, and just going to tier 3, which honestly would probably be a pretty good idea. But in order for that to be successful, they need to hold their gem farms. So any generator bashing that happens now is going to be extremely influential. I like the tactical marines bashing from this angle so that they can use the garrison. The Stormboys actually fucked up their jump there. They didn't get the stun, which is pretty bad. Now, do catch those tactical marines. Get a really nice special, to be honest. Not going to end up dropping a model off them, but that could be just as good for the for Piano here as Cardinal, because they're going to be stuck in base now, healing for a long time if they want to actually get to full health. Death Dread now sneaks in because, of course, he knows he's forced off the missile attacks, which are the only AV on the field, which gives Piano a wonderful opportunity to get off that gem bash, which is going to be so crucial because he is going for the tier 3 fast tech strategy. I mean, it seems to be working out for him pretty well so far. Okay, he only got 1 gen, that's not great. Honestly, getting these gens would have been really crucial. Actually going for double missile attacks. Okay, so this should be the end of the Death Dread. Oh, quite well timed there actually with the charge out. I forget what that's called. What the hell's that called? The speed boost on the Death Dread. Huh. Oh, it might still die. It still looks like it's going to be in range. These attacks are moving quick. Yeah, it's dead. Bit of a missed micro there. It was inactive for quite a while. Oh well. But he does get to tier 3. What's that? Is that more tax? Are you serious? He's actually dropping in more tax. Oh my god, he's gone triple tax, the crazy bastard. Wow. Okay. Okay, so Cardinal really needs to go down to the gem farm and use these missile launchers to gem bash, I think. This is quite weird. For a Space Marine to get absolutely 0 tier 1.5 and then triple tax in tier 2, this is pretty exceptional. Okay, so the Stormboys are just jumping over there, getting away. Trying to split them, the Space Marine tack blob up a little bit, go for some map control. As I say, when they're all together, you don't really have much of a choice to fight it. Okay, so some flash gits are out. I would assume that they're going to be going for their blasters, so that they can kill the tactical marines more effectively, but the problem is, they don't really do anything against the Force Commander with the blasters. The snaz guns, they're going to be really good against the Force Commander, but they're not going to be that effective against the tanks, so bit of a trade-off there. Bit of a trade-off, and the Death Dread didn't really do what it needed to do. It only bashed, I think, 1 gen, which is pretty... It's just not good enough, to be quite honest. I think there were plenty of opportunities for Piano to have got a full bash off in this game, so... Bit unfortunate. But also a bit of bad play. Because now Black Cardinal has actually managed to get to tier 3, and we all know that, just like the Orcs, the Space Marines have a very strong tier 3. Things like Terminators and Predators are going to be really tough to handle. In fact, just a Predator right now is going to be a real pain because there is no AV on the field for Piano, but not only is there no AV, he doesn't even have a squad that can get AV. Now, he could get the rocket launcher. Will he get the snipe? Oh, that was unlucky. That was real close. Wow, look at how much that fucking assassinate did. Jesus, man. Ooh. Pretty lucky escape from the Force Commander. Oh, loses a flash kit model. What is he doing? Too desperate. Too desperate to get that FC, I think. I've completely lost my train of thought from what I was saying earlier. Oh yeah, he could get the rocket launcher and the commander and all, but that's obviously good AV. But yeah, nothing else could have got it. That's why I like this call-in with the commando squad. They're just such a great versatile unit. It's going to help you against the potential Predator, which Piano must expect is coming out now. Yeah, sure, he dropped down triple tax, but he hasn't had any major purchases in quite a while now. It should be obvious there's something coming out. He hasn't seen a Dread, he hasn't seen a Razorback, he hasn't seen a Librarian. The enemy must be tier 3. Commandos are just brilliant. They've got the same DPS with their fists as Slugger Boys have with their choppers. Their guns do more damage than shooters do on average. In fact, they pretty much do the same damage as the fully upgraded shooter squad, just with their 5 normal guns. Infiltration, faster capping, burner bombs, AoE knockback to set up rocks and just help you win army versus army fights. Detection. They're just so good. And they're so cheap as well when you drop them in using the global bar. Now the downside of that is he has basically no red left, so the chance of Piano getting a nuke this game is pretty much nil. There's pretty low chances of that for Cardinal as well, but given he's playing SM and he's only got access to the orbital bombardment, it's not really going to be a very influential nuke in this instance anyway. Orbital bombardment's really only useful against high model squads, but not these knobs. The knobs are going to save all of the orc squads anyway, so I think he'll be saving up his red really for Terminators. Some melee Terminators could be pretty good here actually. They'll shrug off the commando fire really easily, and they'll force the flash gates to have to go for blasters, in which case the Hammer Force Commander can get away with a lot more because there's no really high DPS single target things shooting at him. Predator comes out now. Thunderhammer's putting in a lot of work, doing what it does, controlling the blobs of melee, and crucially, never forget buffing the damage of the nearby tactical marines. Okay, so the looter tank is coming out, but Space Marine tanks are superior to Orc tanks, at least as far as tank versus tank fights go. The looter tank does have really high burst damage and higher splash than other tank variants, so you could argue against infantry the looter tank is better, but look at that, 650 HP, 900 HP with the armor on the Predator, with the armor 850 on the looter tank, and its actual raw damage on the actual cannon shell is lower than the Predator's as well. It's just, it has that higher splash. Well, not damage, but DPS. Basically, in a 1v1 fight, the Predator's going to be doing more damage to the looter tank, and it has more health, so you can predict how this is going to go. Now, there are missile attacks, 2 of them. No, not 2 of them. He swapped one of them for a plasma gun, which is I'm not really sure about that, because Piano actually has really way better AV support now with these 2 infiltrating rocket users. The commando knob on the actual commando squad, his rocket launcher is roughly equivalent to the power of 3 tank busters. Just something to bear in mind. So the combination of him and the ordinary commando knob rocket launcher, which I'm not actually sure how good that is. I don't know the exact number. Is there any way to... No. It's very good. I'm sure it's at least as good as 4 tank busters, maybe even better. So that plus the looted tank should be able to handle this Predator relatively well. I feel like Cardinal will probably have to try and stall out to get those Assault Terminators. As you can see, looking at this composition, Assault Terminators would be amazing. Pretty much gonna shrug off all of the damage here. Ooh! Bit of overcommitment from the looted tank. I don't think it really wants to be that far forward. Oh, miss micro from Cardinal. Wastes that las cannon shot. What just went into that? Oh, that must have been... I think that was the plasma gun that ended up killing the looted tank. But he actually gets the Predator, which honestly... I don't think Cardinal needed to lose that Predator. That was pretty sloppy play. I don't think he needed to lose that Predator at all. I mean, he really didn't. He could have killed the looted tank a lot sooner, but he missed-microed and wasted the last cannon shot. Gonna lose the Force... Oh, is he gonna lose the Force Commander, or is the Thunderhammer gonna save him? Nope, Force Commander goes down as well. Bleeding Flash Gates, but the Flash Gates live. Pretty nice special from that Sarge, but not nice enough because he goes down. That is a... What's it fucking called? Call the boys! Call the boys! Call the boys! We need more boys. So he calls in the boys. The boys are on the field and they're ready to fight. That was a pretty nice call to boys, to be honest. Winning this fight here is pretty nice. He's now got complete control of the map. Lets him exert a little bit more VP pressure. Lets him recover from his losses here and get back out onto the field. I do like that use of Cold Boys. Again, he's using red, he's not going to be able to use a rocks, but I think that's fine. You don't really want to be relying on nukes anyway, you know, that's not a reliable win condition, so why would you set yourself up for that? Yeah, Assault Terminators will be good. That is likely what Cardinal is holding out for at this point. That's going to be his win con. Drop down the Assault Terminators. Probably the combination of Assault Terminators into another Predator, maybe. Maybe not. It's really potent AV having the Commando Knob and the Mini Commando Knob having their rocket launchers. So let's see, is this going to be... Ooh, it is going to be ranged Terminators, not melee Terminators. Yeah, I find that... not sure about that pick. Because they're going to struggle against the melee. Unfortunately, the knob on that Slugger Boy squad died a bit too early there, so... yeah. They didn't do a great job against them there. Of course, they also had the For the Emperor buff. Quite tough. Quite a tough little engagement. Quite a big fuck up, really. Not retreating the Slugger Boys out a little bit sooner would have been really nice to have them around to help versus Terminators. Terminators, of course, being the only unit in the Space Marine roster that has no melee resistance. So that's how you counter them. You need to use melee. That's why Piano is going for the Knob Squad, which will do really well because these guys, I mean, they're tanky, right? They've got, look at this HP regen. So you don't want to try and kill them in ranged. That's 3.5 HP regen per model. So over 10 HP regen constantly when out of combat. Really strong. But those little piercing guns that they've got, I mean, it does good damage to light infantry, but the knobs, hell of a lot of HP, heavy infantry squads, shouldn't give too much of a care for the Storm Bolters. And as fearsome as Terminators are, they're currently on their own against quite the horde of Orcs, so they need to back off. The stun from the Stormboy Knob is going to be really nice here as well, because of course Terminators can't retreat. So it's easy free damage that you can get off on them. Need to be really wary of stacking damage buffs from the Thunderhammer on the Force Commander, which when combined with Terminators could be quite brutal. We do finally see the Blaster upgrade on the Flash Gates, which is going to do some fairly decent damage to the Terminators. Nice to see Scouts flanking in and actually forcing melee on the Flash Gates because he's privy to the threat that they pose. Knobs were held up for quite some time here, trying to fight the Thunderhammer Force Commander, which I'm not really sure how great that was because it appears that he only just used Battle Cry as well, so really should have avoided the Force Commander earlier on. Does kill a Terminator model, that's really good, but the knobs are getting scarily low, to be honest. Who has for the Emperor here? I can't even see. Is it him? This Tactical Marine squad with a missile launcher? That's a bit of a curious choice. Going very all in here on the knobs. The knobs end up losing 4 models. That's really expensive. They're 75 requisition and 15 power each to reinforce. This is quite a brutal game. Lots of losses on either side. The Terminators for the Space Marines cost a hell of a lot of power to reinforce, but not so much requisition, if I recall correctly. Or maybe that's Chaos. Oh shit, that's the other way around, it's Chaos. So that's not good for Cardinal. 150 requisition, 25 power to reinforce these. Chaos Terminators are, I believe, 100 requisition and 50 power. That's generally because Chaos find themselves having a lot more power and lacking requisition in the late game. Though that is, I guess, in the very late game, the case for all races. But yeah, in this instance it doesn't help Cardinal at all. He's struggling to reinforce them. Nice use of the sneaky scouts. He's used them well all game. Using them last engagement to sneak in the back and start punching some flash kits. That's brave, you know. These guys are basically a trio of shooter boy knobs. I wouldn't want to be running up to them and punching them, whether I'm a scout and Space Marine initiate or not. But they're brave lads. brave lads. VPs are starting to look a little bit problematic at this point for Cardinal. Of course, he's privy to that, so he's doing what he can with the scouts. But the lack of the Terminators is really, really hurting him. Can't win a fight without them, but 150 requisition is a lot. It's a lot of requisition. The Orc range blob just seems to be a bit too much at this point. I think that's Piano having it. There's just not really enough VPs left for Cardinal to play with, and he doesn't have the requisition income due to his absolute absence of map control. Only having this single requisition point on the map at this point. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the game. Can't afford any upgrades on the Terminators as well. They're such a requisition heavy purchase. Forcing melee with nearly everything, but not activating Battle Cry anywhere near early enough. I don't know what on earth he's doing. Oh, at this point Cardinal is just throwing his army away. Okay. Fair enough. There you go. Daka 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 daka! From the boys leads to victory. Interesting game. I like seeing some fairly unorthodox tactics. Triple tactical space marines. No tier 1.5 and no tier 2 purchases either. In terms of units at least. We did see a couple of upgrades. Obviously you need to get some form of AV. Yeah, not too typical. Bit of a sloppy game, obviously. As I say, I think Piano could have made this a hell of a lot easier if his Death Dread did a little bit better. Needed to focus on gem bashing more. Needed to facilitate that with some timing pushes with his infantry. Losing the Shooter Boy squad super early on wasn't ideal. I think that could have been quite easily avoided. But shit happens, and you don't throw in the towel just because shit does happen. You dig your heels in. You fight with tenacity, and you can be victorious. Just like these here orcs. So all I've got for you for this one, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. That'll be Torpid out.